What's up, y'all? It's your man JoJo Mason, and you're listening to Music Row with Leake.
Welcome to Music Row, a backstage pass to your favorite country artists. Here's your host, Leake.
What's been happening in JoJo's world?
How much time you got, brother? How much time?
You were busy. You just did what? 4 weeks? You did I think you were doing 3 nights in a row across Canada, and then you get half a minute off and then do another 3-4 nights again. That was a pretty impressive tour.
Dude, we did 7 weeks. And we did our first stretch. We came out the gate so hot. Our first stretch was 10 in a row. We had 1 day off. We had 6 in a row, 1 day off, and then we're back at it, dude. It was insane. But you know what? That's what we built for, man. That's what we asked for when we signed up for this. So Daddy's happy to be out there on the road.
I'm sure though, Steven Lee Olsen too. He was like, this is great. I got a newborn at home.
Oh, man.
This is time. This is a vacation. All I have to do is sing every night, exhaust myself with that.
Yeah.
Then I can go drink, 6 beers and pass out and have a dreamless sleep. I'm just guessing. I don't know. But man, 10 days in a row, that's heavy duty. When you're doing that tour, do you kind of sit back and go, wait a minute? Because I know whenever you go out on a vacation, doesn't matter who you are. Your first day, you go at 100 miles per hour on vacation. Are you kind of like that with the band? And then all of a sudden it's man, we got 10 more of these nights in a row. We can't do this.
Nah, dude. I learned the hard way. So I've been out on the road before. I've done this run a couple of times across the country. So first when I went with James Barker, Megan Patrick, and we went hard right out the gate, and I made that mistake. You don't do that, man. You don't go get your marathon. It's not a sprint. Oh, man, it was crazy. But now I've learned a little bit. I'm a little bit older now, so.
I think it's kind of people forget, too, that that's your job, right? And there's a lot to that job where if I go out every night and get bombed and I show up at the office the next morning smelling like I've just destroyed myself, there's going to be some questions that need to be answered. But you guys, when you're in the band, the work doesn't end once your set's done. If you play for an hour, you play for an hour and a half, you play for 30 minutes, you still have an 8-hour day ahead of you just to get to that next spot. But you grew up in Regina, so what do you know? You don't care. You don't care about anything.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm easy, man. You know me. I don't care about much, dude. I'm just chilling. I go about my business. The coolest thing about this tour, Jeff, let me tell you, man, was I showed up on this tour and I didn't know anybody. I knew Steven a little bit, here and there through the industry. We hung out a couple of times at CCMAs and stuff like that, but I didn't know his band. I didn't know his crew. I didn't know the merch lady that he had brought on with her and with us. And so I showed up to the airport on the bus. I showed up on the bus before they did, met them at the airport in Victoria, and just met everybody that I was going to be living with for 6-7 weeks on the spot. It was crazy, man. But I made so many lifelong friends, dude, that I'm so happy with it.
I have not been on the bus for multiple days, but I've been on the bus for long enough to know that it can change you as a person.
Oh, buddy, you get in that little cubicle that called your bunk.
Yeah.
I always take the bottom bunk because then I could just lay on the floor and roll into my bunk and roll out of my bunk instead of falling off the top.
and then you're not also stepping on people along the way, right? Which is
right.
which
I'm
is
the
a definite
one getting
thing.
Stepped on.
Yeah, well, it's better to have people say sorry to you than to have to apologize for your terrible behavior.
Yeah.
But the tour's not done. There's still a few dates coming up, which is cool. You got a Toronto date coming up on the 14th, which is excellent. Where are you right now?
I'm in Vancouver. I'm at home. I got my kid and my wife just left, and taking him out for the day to go to IKEA. So I'm chilling at home, man. I'm getting some housework done. Believe it or not, I'm a dad first, right? So I got to do some laundry and do some housework, and then I'm gonna practice up my set, my piano. I'm meeting up with my boy Ryan later to work on some songs, and living the best life I can, man.
Did you go to much of the Juno festivities over the weekend?
I did. I went to a few of them. 604 was throwing an industry party on the Friday. On the Saturday, there was a Juno block party I was playing at, and so we went and we mingled, we mixed, and that was the first Junos experience that I've had, I think, in like 10 years. So man, I was fired up. I was there, I was mingling, I was shaking hands, I was meeting people, and you know how it does, making friends, man.
I remember the first time I went to the Junos, and it was kind of like for you maybe, where it was in the town that I was living in at the time. And I'll say that if you're going to the Junos, the Grammys, or whatever, it's way better if it's a road game for you, because
Yep.
the first night I got home at 4 a.m. The next night I got home at 8 a.m. And at 8 a.m. you're almost a missing person, right?
Yeah, 100%, dude.
And then the third night I came back again. It was around 4 a.m. and I got the comment of, "You were home pretty early last night." It's like, then you got to work. You got to do things the next day because it's your hometown gig. So you got, Junos were last night. You're at IKEA today. Meanwhile, there's just a bunch of people, floating around their pool or falling asleep at the airport or something like that, traveling away. Like, they've got it pretty easy by comparison.
Yeah, dude.
How was the 604 people? I like those guys. I like that Jonathan Simkin guy at 604.
Oh man, the best, dude. Honestly, him and I's relationship has been a roller coaster for the last almost 10 years, and we're at a really good spot. There's one thing that I know about Jonathan, I've learned about Jonathan, is loyalty is everything to this guy, right? And transparency. So for me and him, we are on such a good trajectory right now, man. And to have somebody like him really believe in you and what you want to do and your vision, and for me it's always changing because I'm still trying to find myself as an artist, but for him to have my back on almost everything, dude, anything I want to do, any challenges I want to face, any risks I want to take, he's always got my back, man. And so Simkin, yeah, I got nothing but praise for that guy.
I think he's also too, he's smarter than the average bear, right? So he might not be the loudest person in the room, but when he's talking, it's like, oh, these are real words that are coming out here.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you see his post about money's being recouped and being missing from Connect and Resound, and how they're doing a little bit of a deep dive? And saying that his revenues were down 90%. So imagine the independent artists out there. If you lost 90% of your revenues, like tomorrow, and the explanation is, well, I guess you did. You lost 90%. Ta-da. I love that. So you saw this article?
I did, man.
Stirring the pot.
I didn't read it in intense detail quite yet. Haven't had the time since I've been home, but man, I've heard about it. People have been talking about it. I chatted with him a little bit about it, and he was just like, man, I say what I say and I mean what I say, and I'm at the point in my life where, hey, I'm gonna say it like it is. I'm gonna spit the truth, and again, for him to be calling people out like that, man, nothing but love for my guy. Nothing but respect for this guy.
I don't see it as him recouping for money in his pocket. I see him doing it as much for the label that then supports the artists, and the artists as well, who independently will be getting paid outside of the label itself. So I think it's like he's doing it as a big team effort, and it's going to be interesting to see how it develops on what independent labels and artists and managers are going to do about this, because it really, he only turned over a couple of rocks and he found some weird stuff underneath. Anyways, for those that are just tuning in, Jonathan Simkin is the president and founder of 604 Records, JoJo Mason with 604, and Jonathan for years now, 604 joint venture with Chad Kroger. I did a great interview with Simkin just a few weeks ago that you can find online, called The Leake in Review, if you have a search engine available, because it's interesting how they kind of fell into being a record label. But no, I think he's got artists and other labels. He's got their back. So I think that's a cool thing. So Vancouver, I've been saying this, since I lived there years ago, all that time ago, and this was right when 604 is kind of taking off, and You know, there's Dallas Smith and Theory of a Dead Man, a lot of rock
Yeah.
bands, Nickelback, most played artist ever type of thing with How You Remind Me. There was lots of places to play in Vancouver. There was a real cool scene. What are you finding for the scene right now for you, JoJo Mason, in Vancouver?
It's always changing, right? It's always changing. The thing I found is that if you're able to have some success in Vancouver with your music, they're gonna find you. People are gonna come to the shows. Yeah, there may not be as many super sweet, just like super slick venues, as many as there used to be, but people will find a way, man. People will find a way to come see you. So if you're performing downtown, you're getting guys coming from Abbotsford, which is 45 minutes away, just to come out and support, and vice versa. I got some guys coming over from Victoria, from the Vancouver Island, to come over and see us play over here. So the scene, it's starting to get better again, I think, man, especially in the country scene. We got tons of country fans out here, and it's, again, we're just continuing to build and build and build. So we're converting more people into country fans, and hey, I'm doing okay out here, man. I got a solid following out here. I got some my family and friends out here. So every time I play a show in Vancouver, I always feel love, man. I always feel
That's
support
great.
out here.
That's awesome to hear because I've said for an artist who lives in Vancouver, every next show is like 4 hours away. You've got an international
Yeah.
border on one side, an ocean on the other, and then it's 4 hours uphill to Kelowna if you're gonna make it that far. But at least Langley and Abbotsford and Chilliwack and all that spot, they're all kind of like merging in together. So there's a lot of population,
Yeah.
and hopefully that
Yeah.
they're booking more gigs. And it sounds like it's going all right. Where are you at with you and going down to Nashville? Because it seems to me that I find that bands are a little bit too reliant on going to Nashville. I don't know if you agree with me. I like it. There's a million writers down there and a million spots to check out and all that stuff. But I don't know. Do you think country artists in Canada are a little bit too reliant on the whole Nashville scene, or is it something that you got to do?
You know what? I really I don't know if I can speak too much on it, because I've been doing okay up here. I mean, I don't spend 6 months out of the year, 7 months out of the year down in Nashville, and we're doing okay. I think it just depends for the artist what they're chasing, right? Everybody's different. For me, my goals, my dreams aren't to be the biggest, baddest mother trucker on the block. You know what I mean? I want to just continue to make music. I want to pay my bills, and I want to support as many people as I can along the way. So, I mean, to go down to Nashville, if that's what somebody wants to do, hey, all the power to you. Would I love to be down there more? Of course, right? Because when you want to be immersed in with the best of the best, and that's the only way you're going to get better. And it's been proven that you go down to Nashville and you find some of the best that's out there, right? People come from all over the world to just go to Nashville and write and perfect their craft, and I really feel like the amount of talent down there is insane. So if you're going to surround yourself with people, you want to be in that game, sure, that is definitely a viable path for a lot of people. For me, I want to go down there a couple times a year. I want to spend, a couple of months out the year down there and see some friends and build relationships and do the thing. But I got my family up here. I got my parents up here. They're getting older. I got my nephews out here. So we got a solid community out here. And again, Jeff, my goals have always been, since the very beginning, I want to do something, find something that I absolutely love to do, which is, hey, now I found it, making some music, right? I don't suck at that too bad. But
Yeah,
I just want to
no,
make some music, pay my bills, and show as many people as much love as I can, man. So I'm
JoJo
I'm doing
Mason is
okay.
you're betting on you.
I'm betting on me, man. I'm betting on me. And we're gonna do it. I know we are. I know my path, and I know my path, Jeff, because I don't have a backup plan. So this shit has to
Oh,
work,
I
my man.
just heard someone say something similar recently. Like you got to have no backup plan, and that's gonna really motivate you to get to
It
that
does,
next
man.
spot because
It does.
you're waking up tomorrow, and if it's not moving forward, there's problems, right?
And the only person that's gonna move it forward for you is you.
Yeah, it's kind of like you got to work out. You should be having that long hard talk with your coach and just saying, hey, we've been seeing each other too much. I gotta get moving. And
Yeah.
it's a tough thing. And it's the same thing with writing music. If singer-songwriters, they're doing it every single day. And the ones that are writing songs while they're supposed to be having an in-depth conversation with their family or something like that, like, it's just, oh, that's a song lyric. And your wife or your spouse is just kind of like, no, that was the grocery list. That is not a song lyric.
That happened to me yesterday, man. I was in the middle of a conversation with my wife. I stopped her in the middle of it. I said, hey, text me that right now. Whatever you just said, text that to me because that's a lyric. That's a
Oh.
lyric. She's like, I'm in the middle of what? I gotta go text you right now. I said, baby, please. We'll continue the conversation. So she ended up texting to me. I got it down. But it's a constant thing, man. And if you're not gonna be, if your brain isn't wired to do that, to constantly be thinking about the thing that you love the most or that you're supposed to love the most, man, what are we doing?
Yeah, no, it's you went on tour. You just did 7.5 weeks. Well, there's still a few other weeks in the year, right? And this is where you get paid. This is right. The tough part is setting it all up for the next tour and the next event. Bottom shelf. I've never heard anybody say bottom shelf in a song before. I'm so happy that came out. I'm like, bottom shelf, referring to, just the crappiest liquor available, but also just crap in general. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of bottom shelf people out there that you run into. And it's like, wow, I don't know. This song just kind of connected him, like made me started thinking about different angles and different ways that you're, connecting your words. Do you want people to know exactly what your songs are about? Are you just saying, whatever you think it's about, that's what it's about?
Brother, you know me, man. I'm an open book, dude. Anything and everything that I'm all about, man, I have no issues portraying or displaying. But the best thing about music, and I know you know this, is the best thing about music is that it's interpreted differently by everybody, right? Like there's songs that my wife doesn't connect with, my friends don't connect with the way that I do. And there's things that I've been through in my life that certain songs can just take me right back to that same place. And it connects with differently for everybody. So when I'm putting out a song or I'm writing or I'm, recording or producing or whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to think of what's going to connect with me because I know that it's going to connect with somebody else, right? I'm not rewriting the wheel. We all have experienced certain feelings that have, we've all similar feelings and gone through similar things. And so when I'm writing and I'm doing my thing, man, yeah, I want to connect with everybody, of course, but I'm always trying to do something and put out music that means something to me, that makes me feel something as well. Because, hey, man, if it makes me move, and I know it's gonna make somebody else move too.
And you mentioned too about personal discovery, like finding who you are, because it takes a while to recognize what kind of sound it is that you want to do, what you naturally kind of come to. What made you steer into the country world in the first place? Being born and raised Regina, Saskatchewan, easily the greatest rhyming city in the world. City that rhymes with fun,
baby.
And also, too, you have a perimeter road, or at least used to in Regina, that you could barely even see the city. It was so far away. It was like the highway itself was trying to avoid Regina. I love it. Don't
hey man, quit talking trash about my town.
Don't look to the left, okay?
You might see my dog still running,
Yeah. What got you into it? How did it become?
Man, I fell into it. Honestly, I've always loved all kinds of music. Anything from Boys to Men, Celine Dion, Alan Jackson, Paul Brandt, Brad Paisley. Like I grew up listening to everything, right?
Paul Brandt, by the way, I think should go into the Music Hall of Fame, the Canadian Music Hall of Fame.
There's no questions.
He's just not there yet. And I just thought I'd interrupt you. So you fall into it. You're listening to all these sounds.
Yeah. You listen to all these sounds, man. And you just kind of fall. I fell into it. Again, I've loved all kinds of music my whole life. And so if I'm able to take some of the flavors that I grew up with, add it into some country music, man, why wouldn't a guy? Right. So I fell into it just because of the kind of the culture of country music. Pop music I find is competitive, of course, but thing I love about country music, man, is how accepting it is, and how much it's growing and how diverse it is. And when I first came into the scene, it was predominantly white. And so for somebody like me coming in and trying to fit, I guess, it was the most incredible experience. I fell in love with not just the music, but the creation of the music and the people. Everybody's been so supportive of me. I've made some of my best friends to this day, man. And so I want to see the people in my world win. And so I'm in this country scene, man. I'm not, obviously, with the way that music is going and country music's going, I'm not limiting myself to just country music, but I'm taking all the influences from all over the place that I've grown up with, and adding it into my music, and it's country music these days, I guess.
It's interesting because, Alan Jackson was part of a country music scene where radio was only playing kind of Alan Jackson-esque songs, in the 90s.
Right.
And so
That's
on.
right.
So you had that kind of one lane, and that was your exposure for a lot of people to country music.
Yeah.
Today, there's about 88 genres within the genre of country music, and
That's
we
right,
have
man.
access to every single sound. And I think to your point, it's a beautiful time for country music. And whichever road it goes down, I know that some people say it's a little too poppy and all that stuff. Hits are hits.
Wherever there's a heartbeat and a stage, there's an artist set to perform. This is Music Row on Tour.
On Tour is brought to you by Pecan Agency, connecting artists with fans everywhere around the world. A few big tours coming up. Kenny Chesney and Zach Brown Band. They're together at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida on the 20th of April. Have you seen any of these?
I've never seen Kenny or Zach, man. I've seen videos of both of them, and dude, they look insane. They look unbelievable. I want to see a Zach Brown Band concert so bad.
He's got about 15 people on stage with him. I saw them play in Nashville a few years ago, and the band is so tight. And
Yeah.
they just ripped into Killing in the Name of by Rage Against the Machine. And I thought, man, there's a bunch of people here who are blown away by this. And then there's a bunch of people here who are afraid. They're probably thinking like, oh, Zach Brown's having a stroke. This is wild. Ashley McBride plays April 19th in Louisville, Kentucky, and the 20th in Tennessee Theater in Knoxville, Tennessee. And Jason Isbell and the 400 unit are going to be in Baton Rouge on April 20th. Have you seen Jason Isbell? He's a guy that I have not seen out of that list. And man, that's someone who I definitely want to go check out as soon as I can.
Yeah. I would love to.
But that's the thing. You say like you can go out and do shows in Vancouver and that, but that might be one of the things that you're missing out on is the opportunity to go see a lot of shows in Vancouver. Because if you're out on the road for 7 weeks, well, you just lost a good chunk of the year where some bands might be playing in your neighborhood, and you don't get to see bands when you're on the road because you're at work.
Because we're working.
Yeah, I get it. Hey, listen, I know you didn't catch the Junos yesterday, but Josh Ross, he won for Country Album of the Year. I thought I'd play this and get your thoughts.
Vancouver, how we feeling, baby? I just want my records to be heard around the world, and I'm very grateful for this to be my first project and to have this. Very grateful. My producer, Matt Drew, my management at the Core, my booking agent at the Feldman, Joel, I know you're over there somewhere. Universal Music, both in Canada and south of the border. I am proud to be Canadian, and I think it's time that we get back to our Canadian roots and remember that friends are better than enemies. Thank you.
So I like what he did there. He made it political without making it political.
Yeah.
Like I hate it when, oh my God, I so unprepared. I didn't know what to say. And it's like, I don't need you to go on a giant tirade and list off every single person. The people that he mentioned were some pretty key people, especially the money man, the booking agent. But
Of course.
way to go, Joel Baskin, picking up that gig.
My man. Yeah.
But I like that he used that platform and he just said, hey, maybe we can just chill a little bit. Like everything is so polarizing right now. it is getting super, super weird. I don't want to make this too political, but it's like when I see that there's people vandalizing Tesla and stuff like that, it's like 2 years ago, every single one of you with a paint can in your hand would have taken a car from Tesla if it was dropped off at your house. And now this is how we operate. I don't know. It's scary.
People like things to complain about, man, and that's just been the way of the world forever, right? And for me, I'm staying back. I'm not saying my opinions. I'm keeping them to myself because at the end of the day, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to do much. I feel like just like Josh, man. I have so many American friends. I have friends from Mexico. I have friends from Europe. I have friends from all over the place, and none of this changes my opinion of any of them. None of this changes the way that I feel about, the certain people. I just hate that there's so much division in the world, and that's for Josh to get up there, use his platform like that, man. I met him a bunch of times. He's a real one. So I'm hats off to this boy, and man, thank you for repping for us, man. That's rad to hear.
I like the way that you approach it. It's like, yeah, by the way, I'm a country artist. I don't have to have an opinion. You don't have to have that all the time. There was, though, a comic, Bill Burr, who said, don't you remember the good old days when we just used to hate Russia? Like everyone hated Russia. And now today we're hating each other because you're in Oklahoma and I'm in Florida and one's red and one's blue. And it's like,
it's crazy.
Pull back a little bit.
It's crazy.
It's
crazy, man. And they always say there's things you never talk about at the dinner table is politics and religion. Why not just keep it like that? Keep it on. Let me be friends with you. We don't have to talk about things that are going to, divide us. Let's talk about things that connect us. That's it. Why not change the narrative, man? And unfortunately, the narrative has been flipped in certain ways, and we're seeing what we're seeing, and that's the result of it.
JoJo Mason chiming in from Vancouver. Still a couple dates coming up with Steven Lee Olsen, April 14th, I believe, in Toronto, in Southern Ontario. What's the rest of the summer looking like for you?
Busy, man. We got a packed summer. We got shows all over the country. One in Nova Scotia, one in New Brunswick, couple in Vancouver, right in the middle in Alberta. So we're busy, man. We're also in studio constantly. We're writing all the time. We're hustling, man. We're trying to get after it, and at the same time, just trying to be a dad and create the best memories I can for my little guy while he still likes me. I heard that shit is gonna change in the next 10 years or something like that, right?
No, I think kids will always like you. They just don't always like you around.
Yeah, see, now I love being around though, and I love being around him. So once he starts to say, "Hey, Dad, get out of here," that's gonna break me. So I'm trying to enjoy it, soak it all up, and mold this little white chocolate mini me into a decent human, man. And that's a success on its own. He's a cool dude, Jeff. I'll tell you.
Okay, well, I look forward to running into him real soon. I'll come out to your neighborhood and say hello, but I will see you when you're out east in a couple of weeks' time, and we'll check you out on stage at the Horseshoe. JoJo Mason, betting on me. You can find all the sounds everywhere you find your sounds. Great seeing you. Great checking in. I look forward to seeing you on the stage real soon.
Let's not make it so big of gaps in between our hugs and our hangs, man.
You can bet on you. I'll blame me.
Deal.
Follow Music Row on X at Music Row Country, on Instagram at Music Row Official. Music Row is produced by Shed Dreams.
Hi, my name is Kim Stockwood. I am a proud Newfoundlander and a Canadian singer-songwriter. In a landscape where many lack access to health benefits or employee assistance programs, the Unison Fund serves as a lifeline of hope for musicians and music industry professionals facing medical emergencies or mental health challenges. To learn more about Unison and their programs, please visit unisonfund.ca.